Who would have thought Lightning McQueen's next big race after Cars 3 would be a road trip? From new characters, settings, and paint jobs, the changes this miniseries made from the movies are endless. Number 1. McQueen had a wardrobe change.
What's with the funny outfits?
Nothing. No reason.
There's one thing that makes Lightning McQueen recognizable to everyone, but while his fire engine red is prominent in every film we've seen him in, sometimes there are subtle design changes. If we take a look at his paint job in Cars on the Road, it resembles the paint job he donned in Cars 1. Which is a strange design choice from creators, since the miniseries takes place after the events of Cars 3, where his paint job is entirely different.
An insane amount of luck. You two can look like me.
Number 2. Bye-bye to the racetrack.
What's so important about this race of yours anyway?
One major difference between Cars on the Road and its previous 3 films is that this miniseries covers topics that none of the other films have. In Cars 1, we have a not very humble Lightning McQueen first discovering Radiator Springs after being abandoned on his way to a huge race. In Cars 2, we see him head overseas for the big World Grand Prix. And in Cars 3, we see the race car fighting for his top spot in the race world and contending for the Piston Cup. What do all 3 of these film plots have in common? Racing, of course. Something we don't really see in this miniseries.
Now get back out there.
Number 3. He basically lived in a palace.
Honestly, my sister and I don't get along too well, and
When the final episode rolls around, viewers are anticipating just what Mater's family could be like, given how interesting he is. But what we don't expect to see is how rich Mater's family actually is. What he describes as his childhood home is a huge mansion, if not close to a castle, that neither McQueen nor Cruz can actually believe. From watching the previous 3 Cars films, no one would have ever guessed how posh of an upbringing Mater must have had.
Because you moved somewhere new, and she never left her humble begin.
Number 4. He had his moment to shine. It's been mentioned many times how this miniseries steered clear of any major racing. But when it comes to Mater, that's a whole new story. In Cars on the Road, we got to see Mater drive faster than McQueen himself thanks to some crafty add-ons that basically gave him plane jets as a boost.
I've always wanted to go faster and fast and shoot.
It was definitely a contrast to what we've seen in the past Cars films, especially with McQueen struggling to keep up. Number 5. Warm up those vocal cords.
Personalized gas caps. They never have my name.
What would a Disney or Pixar project be without a little bit of music? While we may have got a taste of some tunes in the Cars films, Cars on the Road took its soundtrack to a whole new level. The creators dedicated an entire episode of the miniseries to be a musical. Mater gets to have a little bonding time with other trucks that results in a full-on musical number, lights and all.
It's a truck thing!
Not to mention the song is extremely catchy. Trucks? Anyone? Number 6. Horror-filled inspirations.
Is at precisely noon.
G-rated films and series don't necessarily take influence from world-renowned horror films like The Shining, including the Cars films. But that didn't stop the Cars on the Road producers. In Episode 2, Mater and McQueen stop at a spooky-looking hotel that looks a lot like the Overlook meets Disney's Haunted Mansion. Instead of some horror film liquids, if you know what we mean, we see an elevator that spews antifreeze instead, and a group of car ghosts lingering in the hallway instead of the creepy twins from The Shining.
Your legs.
Try the punch. It's to die for.
Number 7. A million ways for engine failures. After McQueen's mentor Doc Hudson passed in the Cars universe, we knew that although these cars were alive just like us, they don't stay alive forever. In the miniseries, it was uncovered that when cars run out of gas, well, they're no longer alive.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
We find this out after Lightning, Mater, and Ivy attempt to fake an alien abduction and fend off hunters. Number 8. She's the opposite of her brother. The entire plot of Cars on the Road is Lightning partnering with his longtime pal, although things got off to a rough start in Cars 1.
My name's Mater.
Mater?
Yeah, like Mater, but without the tuh.
On a road trip to his childhood home for his sister Mato's wedding. Mato has never been introduced in the Cars universe before, but let's just say she's kind of Mater's opposite in every way possible.
Mato? Like tomato, without the tuh?
She's voiced by Dana Powell and makes her first appearance in the series' last episode. Number 9. Personal touches. Because Cars on the Road premiered away from the big screen and was a more small-scale project, creators got to get a little more personal than usual when it came to the content of the episodes in comparison to the first Cars films. So that meant adding some personal anecdotes, especially director Steve Purcell.
How do you know all all this anyway?
Hours of intense scientific research.
McQueen and Mater's road trip stops were heavily influenced by Purcell's experiences road tripping as a child. Number 10. Making road friends.
My name is Ivy.
Mato isn't the only new character we meet in this miniseries that wasn't in the past 3 films. On the road, McQueen and Mater team up with monster truck Ivy, and it's here we discover how dark monster truck rallies can be.
Monster trucks tend to do one thing, and that's smush.
In other words, these rallies are just big public executions where monster trucks attempt to destroy very alive cars. Other than some pretty dark flashbacks, Ivy's time on the road trip is actually quite fun. Number 11. Checking in on old friends. Like we talked about before, in Cars on the Road there's no racing. Instead, we get a more character-focused storyline. But we also get a glimpse into what McQueen has been doing in Radiator Springs since he retired from racing, something we hadn't seen in any of the 3 films.
I mean, I love Mater, but that's a lot of Mater.
We get to see old friends that maybe didn't pull a lot of focus in the later films like Sally, Luigi, and Fillmore. We also get to see a little catch-up between McQueen and Cruz, who helped him immensely in the last film.
And I'm learning French.
Wow, that's a lot.
Oui.
Number 12. The Grim Reaper's in town.
The racers call me the Speed Demon.
Not only do we discover ghosts exist in the Cars universe, but we also meet a new character, the Speed Demon. The Speed Demon is basically the Grim Reaper of the Cars universe who comes flying in to collect souls. Number 13. No films in sight. This one may be a little obvious, but it definitely changes things. Instead of a full-length feature film, Cars on the Road is a collection of 9 episodes around 10 minutes each. This means the creators were able to showcase more details about the Cars universe and its characters, and were able to delve deeper into the personalities of Lightning McQueen and Mater. If it's any indication, this is the first Cars project outside of the films that Owen Wilson signed on to voice his character. Even he thought Cars on the Road was worth it.
Are you serious? Me? In a movie?
Number 14. In multiple episodes, automobile ghosts pop up many times throughout Cars on the Road, which is a bit shocking considering we've never encountered them in other Cars projects. We have Mater, who becomes a ghost briefly when he gets into his speeding accident, and we also see the ghosts in the Shining-inspired episode. Does this mean there's a Cars afterlife? Number 15. Something other than fuel. What would a fancy Mater family reunion be without drinks? Now, the fact that they are Cars would probably have you believe that all these characters just drink different kinds of fuel. But Mato's wedding was well stocked with bottles of champagne, something we hadn't seen in the Cars universe before. The only question now is, can these Cars become intoxicated from drinking the champagne? What do you think of this Pixar miniseries? Does it hold its own against the past 3 Cars films? Let us know your thoughts on Cars on the Road in the comments section below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching The Things Animated.